Hi there, welcome to Capitol Today. I'm Hilary Kennedy, and today we have the pleasure of sitting down with the one, the only Darrell Day, a very spirited, passionate candidate for U.S. House District 32. Darrell, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Well, first of all, I want people to know, why did you decide to run? What was it?
You know, every time we turn on the news, we see the insanity going on in Washington, D.C. It's insane. They can't find the solution to any problems. I mean, Americans know that we've got problems. 70% of Americans say that we're on the wrong track right now. And for some reason, we can't seem to marshal the brain power in D.C. to find just a couple solutions to problems. I've been a business owner for 25 years, so solutions is what I do. So pragmatic, business-like approach, smart approach to Washington is what I hope to bring to the seat.
Well, it sounds like you're looking for other like-minded, common sense people to work with. That could be tough to come by in Washington now.
We'll find some. So, there's some there.
Yeah, and there is a lot of there's a lot of partisanship going on. There's a lot of debate. And how do you see yourself reaching across the political aisle and sort of working with people that don't feel the way you do, that don't see eye to eye with you? I mean, like you said, you've been in business for a long time, so you've had to work with a lot of different personality types. Mm-hmm. How do you plan on working with people on that level?
That is such a great question. I've been in the business of bringing people together, so that's part of it. You know, so many people in D.C. are attorneys, and their job is to make people fight, right? I've been in a different kind of business that brings people together. So finding common ground is what I'm really good at, and finding what we can all agree on. So maybe it's just, how do we improve education for our kids? Might be the only thing that Republicans and Democrats agree on. So let's start there. How can we improve education? Obviously we're not doing a great job at that right now. We've got to do a better job educating our kids. And so just finding out, I would like to meet every single House member one at a time, find out what is their pet issue. If they could be dictator for a day, what they would like to push through, and just start there and see where we have some agreement. And then also, just on the Republican side, I would like to bring coalitions together. And there are some coalitions in D.C. right now. Republicans, have the Freedom Coalition, for example, things like that. And but we need to widen that and find some more common ground where we can widen those coalitions so that we can get the votes together to actually get some things done for the people of this country.
Absolutely. And it sounds like education is something you're passionate about. What are some of the policy priorities for you, the things that are really the most crucial to you?
Well, right now, it seems like every school district in America has so much of its budget devoted to pushing paper. So many federal government mandates. And I want to cut back on those regulations, cut back on that paperwork, so every school district in America can put more of its budget into actually educating kids, hire more teachers, get rid of some of the paper pushers. We can start there.
Yeah. Well, education is one thing that's on the forefront of everyone's mind, but also the thing that I've heard over and over and over here in Texas is the border is such a pressing, it's distressing for everyone. What are your thoughts on what's going on at the border, and how do you think it needs to be handled?
Hilary, I just got done block walking today, and everybody I talked to said their number one issue is closing our border. If you don't have a border, you don't have a country. Mm-hmm. And right now, the Biden administration is just allowing millions, literally millions of people just to waltz across our border. For starters, it's immoral. Secondly, it's inhumane because we've got people that are dying trying to get across the desert or trying to get across the Rio Grande, and thirdly, it's just unconstitutional. The Constitution is very clear. Part of the federal government's job is to stop invasions of the states. Mm-hmm. Right now, Texas is being invaded. Where's the federal government? Where's Joe Biden? Where's the Biden administration? We should have already impeached Mayorkas. He's not doing his job. I'm happy to see that Governor Abbott has a little bit too late, but has stepped up to the plate to start taking care of some of the things that the federal government's not doing. It's unconscionable that the federal government is actually trying to stymie that effort. I mean, we've got some things in place trying to slow down the flow, and we've got federal agents that are like cutting razor wire to increase people getting in. I mean, to me, that's abetting a crime. And we've got a immigration system that needs to be fixed. That's true. But just to let people waltz across our border unfettered, I mean, it makes people mad that came to this country the right way. And we do want immigration the right way. I mean, all of us, probably you, me, probably everybody watching, is the children of immigrants. We all have families that have come to America, but they did it the right way. They came through Ellis Island, or they did it the legal way, and only then can we control who comes into our country. And without those controls, I mean, it's just chaos. And anybody, and it's kind of funny because we had Democrat cities that said, oh, we're sanctuary cities. We welcome immigrants. Well, until those immigrants started to waltz into their cities.
Yes.
I mean, Mayor Adams in New York gets a couple thousand immigrants, and suddenly he says it's a disaster. New York, a city of, 6 million people, can't handle a couple thousand immigrants? Well, ask Brownsville, Texas, how that's going.
Right.
So just a couple immigrants in some Democrat cities, and suddenly they're not quite as welcoming to illegal immigrants as they were before.
That is exactly right.
So, but it's overtaking the system. In New York, they had a school district where they actually kicked the kids out of school, sent them home to do virtual learning, and then they took that school building to house illegals. I mean, that's just wrong. So we've got a federal government that is pouring billions of dollars into helping illegals, while we've got veterans sleeping on the street. I mean, people are mad. People are rightly very, very mad about this issue, and it's got to stop now. We've got to finish building the wall. President Trump started the process. Let's fund the wall, and we've just got to be aggressive about keeping immigration in check.
Well, and something else that you kind of mentioned in there is our government spending. And I think almost everyone would agree it's been out of control for a long time, but I mean, recently it has really, really gotten out of control to the point that I think no one really knows where the money's going, what to do with it, what's happening. What do you think needs to be done in regards to our government spending?
Well, it is a huge problem. A $33 trillion deficit is unsustainable. It imperils our economy. It imperils Social Security. It imperils everything about our country. There was a U.S. general who was asked what the number one vulnerability was of the U.S. He didn't say it was China. He didn't say it was Russia. He didn't say it was jihadists. He said it was our deficit. That's a military man saying the number one problem is the deficit. I would like to start with zero-based budgeting. And there's almost no appetite in Washington right now for this. So it's gonna take a lot of elbow twisting. But zero-based budgeting, if anybody understands the concept, is instead of just taking last year's budget, adding 4 or 5 or 6% to it, which then spirals it out of control, requiring every single agency to go before Congress and justify their existence and justify their budget, and just making sure that every single dollar is going to benefit the American people, not benefit the unelected bureaucrats in Washington, not benefiting the paper pushers, not benefiting the people in the Commerce Department whose job seems to be to crush American businesses instead of helping American businesses. Go before Congress one at a time and say, this money will benefit the American people in this way, and then find out what agencies need to be cut, what the budget can be cut, and you know, not only could it cut literally billions and billions and billions of dollars of the budget, but also going forward, because right now a lot of government agencies, when they get to the end of the budget year, they know they've got to use it or lose it. Mm-hmm. So here they take more of your tax dollars, throw them up in the air or set them on fire, because if they don't spend that money, then
lose it.
Then it won't be in next year's budget. Mm-hmm. So start every government agency at zero. And I mean, we can bring the budget under control. It just takes some discipline.
Well, it's such a simple solution, but simple is usually what works the best.
You're exactly right. Simple is the thing that works. And part of that, too, is let's look at the U.S. Constitution. What does the U.S. Constitution say the government should be doing? And maybe let's do that.
Right.
Like defending our border, Constitution says we should do it. Let's do that. Sending billions of dollars to other countries, sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. The Ukraine people have fought valiantly. Hats off to them for their very, very brave fight against Russia. But it's not our job to defend the Ukraine border. I don't want another penny going to Ukraine. I want every penny going to defend our border. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, but I don't care about Ukraine's border. I don't. That's not our job. I care about our border. Let's do what we need to do.
Defending ours. Mm-hmm. Well, and it's great that you have jumped into this race. It is a highly competitive one. So you have 3 other competitors in this race, but you're also a former Arlington City Councilman, a GOP Precinct Chair. You've been a delegate to multiple GOP State Conventions. What sets you apart? What makes you different?
I'm a true conservative, and a lot of people have heard the term rhino, Republican in name only. Mm-hmm. I'm on the other end of that spectrum. I'm an AFCIC, AFCC, an America First constitutional conservative. I'm the only AFCIC in the race. We got one guy who actually lives in Lubbock, which oddly is legal.
Huh.
Yes.
Interesting how that works.
Yeah, you just have to live in the state of Texas. I think the founding fathers didn't envision states as big as Texas or California or Alaska. But yeah, you only have to live in the state of Texas. So a guy who lives in Lubbock is in our race. And then we've got a guy who has voted recently in Democrat primaries and Democrat runoffs. I don't know, why he's in the race when he seems to vote Democrat.
The other way, yeah.
Yeah. So, we have open primaries in Texas. So anybody can run in any primary. And somebody who it seems like is a Democrat has jumped into our primary. So
it's fascinating. Well, it's nice to see that you are very straightforward with who you are, what you stand for, what you believe, what your principles are. I want to talk, I know we touched on the economy a little bit, but I want to talk about economic growth and, creating jobs and things like that in your district. How important is that to you?
That's very, very important. Two parts of that. One is we've got to cut back federal spending, and that will lower inflation. And inflation has just crushed people in their pocketbooks.
Yes.
I mean, look how much a loaf of bread costs now compared to 3 years ago. Every
time you go to the grocery store, you're almost afraid to look at the receipt.
Exactly. You've got to take out a loan to fill up your car now, pretty much. It's crazy, but throwing trillions of dollars willy-nilly into the economy has fueled that inflation. Mm-hmm. So again, getting back to reining in government spending. But secondly, we need to get government off the backs of businesses in the country. President Trump started that. He cut thousands and thousands of regulations that did nothing good for the American people, but only increased the paperwork and the burden on U.S. businesses. So get the government out of the way. Like I said, I've been in business 25 years. I don't need the government to help my business. I just need it to not hurt my business.
Yes. Amen to that. Now, if I wanted to get to know Darrell the man, is there any sort of hidden talent or hobby that I should know about you, Darrell?
Let's see. At the age of 12, I was a tournament chess player. When I realized that I would never be good enough to win a world championship at that, I got into tournament Scrabble. So dirty little secret is that I'm in the Texas Scrabble Hall of Fame. So when I met my wife, the third date is the full disclosure date where you tell the dirty little secrets. The third date, I had to tell her that I was a tournament Scrabble player. I don't have time anymore for that, but yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Well, so
that's pretty stupid.
Well, then it makes sense that you've made the leap into politics, because strategy sounds like it's your thing. So that's great.
I am very good at strategy.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Well, so is there anything else that you would like for people watching and listening to know about you? Either what your passions are, if there's another policy that maybe we haven't talked about that you're passionate about, or just why you deserve their vote.
I deserve their vote because, as we talked about earlier, sending a common sense, pragmatic problem solver to Washington is the first step of, and ideally we have another 435 intelligent, pragmatic people trying to find solutions, but you've got to start one at a time. Also, our district, CD 32, is a pretty it's a pretty blue collar, common man district, and we should have somebody who is closer to the people and closer to the values. Right now, the Democrat Party has just gone off the deep end. We saw in 2008, the Democrat Party took all mention of God out of their platform. And since then, the Democrat Party has spiraled out of control. Demonic is probably too strong of a word to describe the Democrat Party now, but it has become completely untethered from those values that made this country great. Hard work, entrepreneurship, working hard so that our children have a better life. The Democrats seem to have lost sight of that, and instead they want to defund the police, which is insane. They want to indoctrinate our kids instead of educate our kids. We've seen in every city that becomes completely governed by Democrats, just out of control. Crime runs rampant. People are on the street shooting up right on the street in front of schools. The Democrat Party has become the party of whacked out college professors and gay, lesbian activists, and they've lost sight of the common man. They've lost sight of the real backbone of this country, which it brings up an interesting question is, President Trump has engineered an amazing transformation of the political landscape in that years ago, Republicans were kind of the country club Republicans, and the Democrats were the party of the little guy, fighting for the little guy. That script has been flipped on its head. Now, President Trump is the populist. He's the guy fighting Washington, fighting against a tyrannical government, fighting for the little guy. Right. And we've seen it that, it's people that that haven't graduated from Harvard that are the ones supporting President Trump, because he's talking about those values that have made America great. And he's talking about the common sense things like, build the wall. Build the wall. If we had a wall right now, we wouldn't have millions of illegals pouring across the border, bringing Mexican gangs, bringing fentanyl, bringing human trafficking. President Trump was right on issue after issue after issue, and in the process, he's turned the Republican Party into the party of the little guy.
That's a great point. I really do think that the average everyday American now really has to fight to be heard, and he spoke up, and we need more people like that. And I know that's why you were motivated to do this as well, to really speak up and be a voice for those people and say, like, we're not going to take it anymore. We want the America that we know and love, and we want that to remain.
Oh, well said. I wish I would have said it like that.
Well, my last kind of final questions before I let you go. One of them, just for fun, in your district, is there a spot that you love to go to hang out, something you like to do there?
Well, as you can tell, I don't do it enough, but I love to run around White Rock Lake.
Oh, it's beautiful.
White Rock Lake is the treasure of this area. And, it's just gorgeous. And, the sailboats are out there in the lake, and the dog walkers and bikers are going around the lake. So, yeah, an afternoon cruising around White Rock Lake is just heaven to me.
It's so much fun, and a great way to be out in the community, meet lots of different people. So, if you're out at White Rock and you see Darrell, make sure and say hi. And if people do want to know more about you, they want to know more about your campaign, what you stand for, how they can donate and be a part of what you have going on, where do they need to go?
dayfortexas.com. Day, F-O-R, for Texas.com. If you want to find out more about my position on any other issues, or find out the people that have endorsed us, or, want to donate lots and lots of money, or just $5 too, please go to dayfortexas.com. And speaking of endorsements, we have been endorsed by nearly 90 GOP precinct chairs. And we have over 130 volunteers signed up. So the grassroots that I was talking about is exactly what we're mobilizing in this race.
It's taking effect. I love it. Well, Darrell Day, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Thank you.